By the early 1940s, British authority over India was steadily collapsing. World War II had weakened imperial power, while mass political mobilization made continued colonial rule impossible. The Indian National Congress argued for a united, independent nation, believing diversity could be managed through democratic governance. The Muslim League, however, feared long-term political marginalization in a Hindu-majority state and increasingly demanded a separate homeland. British policies of administrative separation had already deepened communal divisions. As negotiations accelerated, compromise became harder to achieve. Independence was inevitable, but the absence of mutual trust meant the transition risked instability. The departure of the British would not bring closure, it would expose unresolved political and social fractures. In August 1947, British India was divided into two independent nations, India and Pakistan. The boundary lines were drawn in haste, based largely on incomplete data and limited local consultation. The announcement triggered one of the largest mass migrations in recorded history. Nearly 15 million people crossed borders amid fear, confusion, and uncertainty. Communal violence erupted across Punjab and Bengal, overwhelming local administrations. Entire villages were destroyed, families were separated, and trains carrying refugees became symbols of unimaginable horror. Scholars estimate that close to 1 million people lost their lives. Partition achieved political separation, but at an immense human cost that continues to shape memory and identity across generations. Soon after independence, the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir became the first major flashpoint between India and Pakistan. Armed conflict broke out in late 1947, drawing in regular forces from both sides. A United Nations brokered ceasefire in 1949 divided the region along what later became the line of control. However, the political status of Kashmir remained unresolved. Further wars in 1965 and 1971 reinforced mutual suspicion and militarization. Over time, Kashmir evolved beyond geography. It became a symbol of sovereignty, national identity, and strategic security. The dispute entrenched hostility, making reconciliation more complex and emotionally charged with each passing decade. By the late 20th century, the rivalry entered a critical phase with the introduction of nuclear weapons. India conducted its first nuclear test in 1974, followed by a series of tests in 1998. Pakistan responded within weeks, establishing itself as a nuclear-armed state. Both governments viewed nuclear capability as essential for national security and deterrence. While these weapons reduced the likelihood of full-scale conventional war, they introduced unprecedented risks. Conflict now existed under the constant threat of catastrophic escalation. Stability depended not on trust or resolution, but on careful signaling, crisis management, and the assumption that neither side would cross an irreversible threshold. From the late 1990s onward, India-Pakistan relations followed a cycle of engagement and breakdown. Diplomatic efforts such as the Simla Agreement and the Lahore Declaration demonstrated willingness to reduce tensions. However, events like the Kargil conflict, major terrorist attacks, and recurring border standoffs repeatedly disrupted dialogue. India accused Pakistan-based groups of cross-border terrorism, while Pakistan denied state involvement and raised concerns over regional security. Each crisis hardened public opinion and narrowed political space for compromise. Yet even during periods of tension, back-channel talks and ceasefire agreements showed that communication remained possible. Progress, however, remained fragile and easily reversed. Today, India and Pakistan remain shaped by the unresolved legacy of 1947. Open war has largely been avoided, but mistrust, strategic rivalry, and competing narratives persist. Nuclear deterrence has imposed restraint, yet it has not resolved underlying disputes. For millions, this conflict influences national identity, political discourse, and security policy. Understanding this history requires balance, factual clarity, and empathy for human suffering on all sides. Simplistic explanations or emotional narratives fail to capture its complexity. History here is not distant, it is active and influential. If this documentary added perspective, consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing for more neutral, evidence-based explorations of history.